The Irish border, more open than almost any in the world, with more roads crossing it than between the US and Canada, or Russia and Eastern Europe. The border runs right down the middle of this river, and here in the town, it's invisible. I'm crossing now from Ireland into the UK, easy. And that's the way people here want it to stay.
Today already I was across the border maybe 5 times.
You've been across 5 times today?
Yeah.
And that's perfectly normal?
Perfectly normal for anybody here.
So road closures?
Be a disaster.
After Brexit, this will be Britain's only land border with the European Union. There are real fears here that if Britain crashes out of the EU without a deal, a so-called hard border will be imposed. So the border goes through the lake. There are British fish and Irish fish.
Yes.
John Sheridan dreads the return of border controls. Customs officials, police, soldiers of 2 countries.
Yes.
It was militarised.
Yes.
And it was a pain in the neck.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's all gone.
Reviving a guarded border wouldn't be easy. This church is in the UK. Its graveyard is in Ireland.
In our eyes, there's no border. We just go about our life as normal.
And that's the way it should stay.
Of course, it has to stay like that.
The old border posts are abandoned, but hardline British Brexiteers would put them back, so Britain could be free forever of EU ties. And that prospect stirs fears here of violence.
You put up physical infrastructure that people can protest at, or God forbid somebody can attack, the genie gets out of the bottle very quick.
The genie of violence.
Yes, possibly, yes. It'll never be, we hope it'll never happen, it'll never be on the scale, but you would see sporadic attacks, absolutely.
The border is the centre of the Brexit battle, but for decades it was literally a battleground. Memorials to the dead litter the borderlands, the scene of some of the worst massacres of Northern Ireland's long conflict. The violence here claimed 3,500 lives, and there is a real fear that a chaotic British exit from the European Union could rekindle conflict.
It could bring the troubles back.
Bring the violence back.
It could bring the violence back. We had 30 years of continuous war. It was horrific.
It's nice the life we have now with peace.
Peace in Northern Ireland made the border open and free. In one border village where dead gunmen are celebrated, a threat if Britain forces a hard border.
Do you really think that we're going to have them coming in dictating to us again? I would say let's go back to war.
War and economic collapse are the twin fears of the tight-knit communities that straddle the border.
55% of our lamb goes to the south for processing. 35% of our milk travels south for processing. That could be completely shattered. So our business could be ruined, and the future of our family and our children could also be ruined.
It's that serious?
It's that serious, absolutely.
If we got a hard border in Northern Ireland, it would be desperate. It would really be the end of Northern Ireland.
For now, Britain wants to avoid a hard border by tying the UK into the customs union, the controversial, unpopular backstop. Here, they're afraid that'll be ditched and their open border sacrificed, with dangerous consequences. A minority here did vote for Brexit.
If we're going to do Brexit, let's do it and be done with.
The majority have just one word for it.
It's a mess, it is just total mess.
A mess thousands in Northern Ireland want to escape by getting Irish passports to remain EU citizens.
6, 7, 8 times the normal volume of passports since the Brexit vote came in about 2 years ago.
People looking for Irish passports?
Looking for Irish passports, yes.
But there's neither a pot of gold nor reassurance at the end of the Irish border rainbow. Just risk of ruin and of a return to a dark past. In just over 100 days, Britain will leave the European Union, the biggest change in its status in 50 years. But some things won't change. The country will remain bitterly divided. The ruling Conservative Party will still be at war over Europe, and peace and prosperity here in Northern Ireland will be threatened and fragile. It didn't want to leave the EU, it will be forced to. And so An old wound, a scar in Ireland's green will reopen, and nobody knows what damage that might do. Bill Neely, NBC News for Euronews on the Irish border.